Hello everybody, it's Mrs Bead here. I'm just going to make a short demo video for my new YouTube channel, and lots of you have been buying these Oodles of bead boxes from me lately, and I've been throwing in a dreamcatcher kit along with a pair of pliers, so I know everybody's eager to find out how to make the dreamcatcher. So let's just first of all have a look in the box. This is the Oodles of bead box, and of course as usual it comes with a roll of elastic. So oodles of elastic, oodles of jewellery, oodles of fun. You can make lots of anklets, bracelets, necklaces with that. There's meters and meters of it, and so plenty of fun for over the holidays there. And then in the box there's lots and lots of different beads, letter beads. We've got charms, so if you have a good route around, there's seed beads in the bottom, jump rings for adding your charms, all sorts of different things in there. So have a good rummage. And the dream catcher that you're going to make looks a little bit like this. So this is one in blues and golds that I made a while ago, and that's the little pendant, and you're going to add 3 feathers onto yours. Well, you can add charms if you like, but I'm going to show you how to add 3 different feathers onto it. And to do that, first of all, the fun job of gathering the beads. So what you need to do really is get a little tub from the kitchen or something, and just so you can have a rummage through your bead box and start putting some beads in that are going to go nicely with your dream catcher. Oh, that's pink maybe. So I'm looking for some blues and oranges and reds to go with mine. So leave me with it. I'll start finding all the beads, and then I'll come back when I've found them all, and I'll show you how to start building your dream catcher. So I've collected up lots of beads in here, and I think I've done a good job of collecting them in the colours of my feathers. So I had quite a lot of fun doing that, and I hope you did too. But what we're going to do now is we're going to just move out the things that we don't need. So we don't need the Oodles of bead box there, and we don't need the elastic. And we're just going to go over the things that you've got in your kit. So first of all, you've got the 3 feathers. They're all different shapes and sizes and colours, so I hope you like the ones that you've got in your kit. We've got a piece of ribbon here, it's just to finish it off, so you should have a piece of white ribbon in your kit. We've got 3 eye pins. I have these specially made so that they're super long and you can fit lots of beads on them, and those are the little eyes at the top there that you're going to fasten the feathers to. And then you've got the dream catcher pendant itself, so this is what it looks like close up. These are really used for earrings and necklace pendants and things, but I thought they looked quite dream catcher-ish and they're perfect for this job. So you've got one of those. You've got 3 little ribbon or cord ends that look like this, and these are used to fasten the feathers on with, so you just put the feathers in them and they'll fasten on. So you should have 3 of those, and then you've got 6 jump rings, which don't generally jump, but they're open jump rings, which means it's half the work because you only have to close them, and they're used to fasten everything together. That's the jump rings. You should have 6 of those, and then you'll have some jewellery making pliers. Now I'll tell you how to use those in a short while, but do make sure that there's always a grown-up around when you're using pliers if you're not a grown-up yourself. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start, another fun bit is filling the pin with your favourite beads. So I'm going to get my bead pot, have a rummage through and start to pick out some beads that you like the look of. So I'm going to have a look. I don't always go for the first ones that I put on, so I swap and change them around. Have fun, take your time, use plenty of seed beads, those can make it look really expensive. So I'm just grabbing a few to put on now. I think I put something blue on as well. Let's have a look. So yeah, so I'll just put a few beads on just to give you an idea. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away and I'm going to fill all 3 of my pins, and you can do the same, and then come back and I'll show you what to do next to make your dream catcher. So I've managed to fill all 3 of my pins, which I'm quite happy with. So I've picked out the colours again, like I said, to go with the feathers, and I quite like these with little red beads that I found in my Oodles of bead box. They're like little petals or leaves, just to add a bit of interest. So I've done those 3. I've done the 2 outer ones the same, well, apart from a little flower, and the middle one different, but of course your designs will all be very different as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the jewellery making pliers pliers. These are 3-in-1 pliers. I'm going to show you how to use these to put a loop into the top of your eye pins so that the beads don't fall off. So first of all, I'll start with the central one. What I tend to do is I tend to leave not very much wire actually at the top, especially if you're a beginner. It's easy with a shorter amount, and then you don't have to keep looping it and looping it. And I get hold on to the top of the eye pin with the round part of the pliers. These are the round nosed part for making loops. And what you're going to do is I always support the pin in my other hand, give it a bit of muscle, hold it like that, bring it up, and then I'm going to curl the top round. I'm hoping you can see that. And then another technical term, I'm going to use the middle part of the pliers, which I say is used for the squishing. So you're going to squish just in a little bit if there's any sort of gaps in your loop, which there shouldn't be. You can straighten them up if you're a perfectionist, but really the main thing for you to make sure you've done is to get a nice loop with no gaps whatsoever. So I'm going to do the same on the others. So I'm going to grab it and twist it round, making sure again there's no loops, just give it a bit of a squish. And the same on the last one. I probably would go over and just make sure they're all nice and straight so they hang nice, but just if we give it a little squish then, and the beads won't fall off any of the pins now, they're all intact like so. So the next stage then is to fasten some ribbon ends onto the feathers so we can piece our dreamcatcher kit all together. So now I'm going to show you how to fasten the cord ends onto the feathers so that they're going to dangle on the end of your dream catcher. You're going to take one of the cord ends, which are these little things, they're very tiny so it's quite fiddly. You're going to put the feather into the end, just hold it with your fingers. Ideally you'd have a flat nose pliers for this, but we've just got the 3-in-1 and it's rounded at the end. You could try and use the middle section to do this job, squishing it down, but I would probably just, because it's so soft, you can just use the very tip of your round nose pliers just to fold in, and I'm trying to zoom in so you can see, just to fold in the sides of the cord end like so, and then turn it round, and you're going to hold it very carefully and just do the other side. So you're just folding in that piece of silver like so. It's very hard to show how it works, but that's how it works. So you can see it folds all the way around, leaving you with a bit of a loop, and we're going to use that loop afterwards to fasten it together. So I'll do the other two. So we've got that one, and then we've got the blue one here. So I'm just going to hold it in place, and then I'm going to fold it in. So I'll fold it in on one side, and then fold it in on the other. That's two, and then the last one, I do like these three colours together, and then fold it in like so. If you did have some flat nose pliers, you'd probably prefer to use those, but easily done. There we go, we do now have all three fastened on. So that's that job done, and then the next one is to attach everything together with our little jump rings. So that's the next job to do now. So the last job of all is piecing our dream catcher together. It's getting very exciting, you'll soon see how it works. So I'm just going to move these little bits out of the way for this, and then we can piece it together with lots of space. So we're going to attach our feathers using the jump rings, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to hook the jump ring through those loops on the cord ends. That's why you attach those onto the feathers. It's going to mean it can dangle down. I'm going to take my middle eye pin there and just fasten it on, and we're going to do the squishing again. I love that technical term. We're going to squish it in like so, making sure there isn't a gap. So you can always just give it a little wiggle afterwards just to make sure it's in place. We're going to do that with all three. So decide which feather you want on which pin, add it on like so, and then using the middle part again, I'm going to squish it. Just watch your fingers and make sure that there's always someone around when you're using your tools. So that's that one, and then we're going to do the last one. So we'll have all our feathers attached then. There's feathers everywhere now. So I'm just going to squish it together. Sometimes you can pull them together like so, if you want to, if you find that easier. And there we go, we've got all 3 feathers attached now. Lots of feathers everywhere, that's the middle one. And then the next part is to use the same technique, same jump rings, to fasten the pendant onto it. So here's the pendant, and it's all going to fasten together like so. I'm going to take the middle one. Make sure your loops are nice and big so that there's enough space for the jump ring to fit through. So we're going to fasten that one on first. Oh, that's number 1. And then number 2, which one? The red one. So this one goes on here. So we've got 3 times to do that. And let's do the last one. I'm doing this super speedily now. Don't worry if you find anything tricky at first. The more you do, the easier it gets. And squish that one together. No gaps at all. So there, we've got all 3 attached now. And our dream catcher is almost done. So you can see all 3 fastened on. Like so. And then the last job is to fasten the ribbon on. So if it doesn't already have one, get somebody to cut your ribbon into a nice point, because we're going to feed this through our dream catcher. There's a little loop at the top of the pendant, and you've got to be able to feed that through like so. And then you're going to take it and pull it all the way up, and you're going to tie it in a double knot at the top. I know knots are tricky, so you can always get someone to help you with that bit as well. So we're tying it in a knot like so, and there we have it. This is our finished dream catcher in all its glory, with all the beads. I do love these beads, and the 3 feathers fastened on, made all by yourself. So let's lay it out there so you can see the whole thing. So I hope you've enjoyed the video for this, and I hope you've made a wonderful dream catcher. So don't forget, there's still all of these beads left in your box, and a whole roll of elastic, so you can keep making for much longer after you've made your dream catcher. And don't forget, I always love to see your designs, so feel free to send them to me. Thanks ever so much for watching. Happy beading everybody, and I hope you've enjoyed Mrs Bead's video.